transformed education, rethought schools, or reimagined learning. Is this the time to actually work on change?
People say that it was Winston Churchill who said that we should never let a good crisis go to waste, and that's really the most used kind of a adage in these days. And I think what this crisis is really doing is that it's allowing us to think differently and also look back. I think one of the significant things for me is that if I look at education globally, I'm not talking about Ireland or Finland only, but education in general, that during the last 20 years, we have been spending more money in education in different ways. We have tried all kinds of innovation and different types of reforms. Just look at England or the United States. But at the same time, we have seen declining learning outcomes across the board. And the other thing that we have seen also, and this was far before the pandemic, was the gap between the most disadvantaged students and most affluent students in the school systems in general. The gap was widening. So, I think that this crisis is helping us to really ask this hard question that what are we doing wrong? Why this has been happening before the pandemic, and what the pandemic has done is just kind of amplified these things, that we see these inequalities more clearly, and we see the kind of the issues and challenges that this traditional school system has had in many countries more clearly now than before. I don't think that it's going to be easy and fast, but I can see that there's probably more focus in the post-pandemic to this particular issue, that how do we make sure that each and every child really would get a kind of a good education that will help her or him to be successful in life.
It's only through asking questions that we actually cause people to stop dead in their tracks and to think. Teachers have shown how versatile they are. They literally pivoted overnight to online teaching and learning. And they did it brilliantly. I don't really believe that they were applauded enough here in Ireland for the job they did. Some schools obviously did better than others, but it showed them their capability and what they can do under pressure.
It's just like you said yourself, Teresa, that this recognition that schools were actually doing quite well, this huge transition. Before the pandemic, people say that schools change very slowly, and sometimes the way schools work, particularly when it comes to teaching and learning, is impossible. But just take a look at this. In a matter of few months, schools in Ireland and Finland and here basically turned everything upside down in how they teach and help kids to learn. That if we take this notion seriously and just go back to this trust issue, that maybe we can trust more schools' own judgment and ways of realizing and finding best ways to make sure that all these children can learn, that maybe it's a better way than believing that the government or the authorities will figure out the best curriculum and best way to assess and inspect and do all these things. Let's trust a little bit more the school's judgment to do this. But then I want to bring another aspect here, that is, I can see that this will be one of these emerging themes within the next 12 to 24 months as we go into this, what will hopefully be a post-pandemic period.
Sure.
The other realization will be that the children in most countries have been actually extremely resilient in this situation. You remember a year ago when the pandemic was kind of just beginning, there was the Economist and McKinsey and many others were saying that how much the kids have left behind, and all this learning loss in the school, and all these gloomy pictures that if this continues for a year, there will be huge losses in lifetime earnings and many other things. But now, for example, here we had in Australia the first national assessment results since the kind of a pre-pandemic things. And the unbelievable thing was that the kids in many states here actually were doing better.
Wow! So the forms of learning, yeah.
So, and, this is kind of how can it be that these kids are actually learning more when the whole world and society, schools have been closed and they have been in a lockdown, and the parents have been unemployed and many other things, but the kids actually show that they learn better, and that's for me is for me it's nothing surprising. It's a kind of a natural way of the human resilience, and particularly children are really good in that when they really have to put their best in showing what they can do, what they have done, they're able to do that. And if we realize this very unique feature of children, of their being resilient when the time comes to do that, maybe the other notion together with this trusting teachers and schools will be that maybe these kids have much more capacity within them that we have actually realized, that maybe this way that we've done until now, by asking them to sit in a classroom and do the homework and go with the same pace, is not necessarily the best way. Maybe we should have more diverse way of helping kids to learn, and maybe we should ask them a little bit more often that how you want to do this, and what is your natural way of learning. So in this sense, I'm very hopeful that we will this crisis will kind of expose some of these new understandings of what is this, you call it a total human capital, that what is this kind of a power of this human capacity and capital in people when they really have to show that